Good evening from Area 51 Raceway. I am finally continuing the Mark Thomas racing proxy coming up. That's the Winston Cup race proxy, which is in the middle of November. And when I first started this, it was a couple of months ago. I had to look at the date when I did a video on this, and originally I was going to use this car and paint it. But with luck I had, I did find a Carrera one which had the driver that I chose and the color and the livery. So I was able to pick this body up, or actually the whole car, because it wasn't very expensive. So I got lucky with this one because this is a really, not available anymore because they don't make them. And what the proxy rules was, using an original body or original paint scheme that they actually raced and then making a chassis for it. So I know I had started a chassis and talked about it, but here's a completed chassis. I didn't have much time, and I've kind of forgotten about, doing it, and then I was kind of like not sure if I was going to make it in time, but with a good, I would say a good 6 hours work of just trying to, get it together. And also this part was really tough for me, which I wanted to try, which was using the existing Carrera mounting holes. And what I did was I made this bracket and kind of like a wing, and I've done it before on another car. And then the front I wanted to do also, and I bent some wire here. And what I did to make this possible is to use some thin piano wire. I believe this is I can't remember if it's 33 thousandths, and it's easy to bend with your hand. If you use anything thicker than that, you're going to be really struggling to get this where you want it to sit, because I needed to get the ride height correct too for this car, because we wanted to keep it as the modeling part of it is what was important, is keep it how it was when it raced, not slam to the ground or anything like that. But how they race the cars and stuff, so it looks like a stock NASCAR, because that's the whole thing of the series, what it's about. So as you can see, this is a wire chassis, and I made my plate here with holes, made another plate here. This is piano wire and another more piano wire. This is a Cobra guide tongue holder, and what we're running is the 332nd axles and the 27 tooth crown gear from Slotted with the hub, and the 9 tooth pinion, and with a Predator 20,500 motor. And this is pretty much everything here. I thought about painting a chassis, but I figured no, the heck I wasn't going to do it. Of course, I got this done today. I didn't really take my time to do it when I should have, but I was able to get it finished, and so far pretty good. It mounts really nicely. I put a few pictures of it on Facebook and on Home Racing World, and as you can see, this is where they mount right there, and so it'll work. And what I do is, for the body screws, I use the slot car corner ones that are for Carrera, and these have, you see, a section right there like I did on the fly build, or the fly overhaul, excuse me, and this allows this for body float. So these work perfectly because these were meant for these posts. So overall, this is ready to go. I am currently right now going to need to just paint the wheels, which are not here. They need to be white, and I'll paint those tonight, and then I'll have these mounted and glued, and then I'll trim tomorrow, and I'll put the car on, and I'll do a video on it running around the Area 51 Raceway track downstairs. So, but just thought I'd do a follow-up video on this, and I didn't really go over how I built this chassis. I just needed to build it. That's why I just got up here in the probably around like 11 o'clock and just started going at it, and it's about about close to 5 when I finished it, on 6, because I was basically done around 5, and getting everything on and making sure the motor worked and the guide's good and everything's fine. And so far we'll see how it works when we get the wheels screwed and everything, see what we need to do with the guide, if we need to shim it more or less, because I got a pretty shim that it came with right here originally. So we'll see what it looks like when we get it all done. And again, these tires need to be trued, so we'll get it together, and I'll do a follow-up video and show you this when it's all said and done, and we'll take it out on the track. Hey, welcome to Area 51 Raceway. We're down here at the track, and I have the Charlie Glotzback NASCAR
So it's Daytona, I believe, is what this is. Can't say Roadrunner because I think it was Daytona. And we have this. So now, don't give me too much credit because this is the Carrera body that you could get. And what the Mark Thomas race is basically is using the the actual racers that raced in NASCAR, and also was the challenge was for the series is to build a chassis for it. So originally I was going to paint, like I said earlier, the blue one that I got. I can't remember the number. That was blue and yellow, and with yellow wheels. And I was going to paint that this color, and I had the paint and everything for it, but the one problem was I had the decals as well. Is that the type of decals that were only available? I can't stand those decals. They're not like separate. They're like all one sheet together, and they're real difficult to put on. So I kind of punked out and found an actual Carrera, which they did make in this livery for NASCAR, and I picked this one up, and basically I just stuck the body on. So I did not do the work on this car. Carrera did. But however, I did paint the wheels, and I did do the chassis on this. So here's the chassis on the car, which I showed earlier. I've added some additional weight to keep it more stability on it when it comes around the corners, which helps out a lot. It wasn't as bad without it, but this helps it out more. And as you can see, I have the ride height set as where I kind of would think it would be when it first came out. Maybe it should have been a tad bit lower, but they didn't want part of the rules is they didn't want these cars slammed to the ground. They had to have the appearance of when they raced on the track. And this is pretty close. And I did true the wheels down also on the front a little bit more, so that's why it's not filling the wheel well as much. But overall, it came out well. The stance looks good, and it falls within the rules. So let's put it on the track, and we'll see how she handles. So give me a sec here, and we'll go to the track. All right, here we are at the ready to run it. So I'm talking real loud so you can hear me through the iMac mic because I don't have a camera yet. So or a microphone, I mean, because I need to get a better microphone. And so we're going to run the car. Now this is for the Mark Thomas proxy, which is this month in about, I think, like 13, 14 days. This is the NASCAR Winston Cup Challenge. So I've got this car together. I spent all day working on this chassis and getting this to work right, and all the way through 1 o'clock in the morning. But I'm going to go ahead and give it a whirl around the track so you can see what it looks like when it performs. Oh, there we go. We just spun out there, and I'm going to put it back on the slot as a VD slot. But it didn't tip over like it should, or not like it should, or like it did when I first started running this car. So I think it will hold on to the track pretty good at the wood track at Mark Thomas's place. So hopefully it will do well, at least not be slotting all the time. So I'm running at 12 volts. And I don't know what the voltage Mark will be running on this track, but there you go. It's a little spin out there. I need to clean the tires a little bit. But overall, it works real well. So far, I don't see any difficulties with the car in general itself. Let me turn on the face cam here, but. Pretty much, I think so. Overall, the amount of chassis work they took on this really took a long time, as I wanted to use the original Carrera post mountings, and I had to make little brackets that with wire to bend them, and you have to use a thinner piano wire. If you use the thicker stuff, it'll be really hard to do. So I used like a thinner piano wire to able to bend this and manipulate it and get the ride height right, because I was worried it was going to be crooked or cantered this way, and I did the best I could, and I think it wasn't too bad. And but I got the commercial guide in here, made sure it was tucked in the car so that it's not sticking out. I was going to use a slotting plus one, but I decided to go with the commercial one because it actually hid it pretty well where I positioned it, and that was the whole point, was that the guide has to be within inside the car. It cannot be, sticking out. So, but ride height looks pretty decent. It's legal, so it's not slammed. It could use a teeny bit of lowering, but I'm going to go with that. I'm not too disappointed with it. I think the tires truing them down, because before the tires were trued down, they did fill in a little bit more. But overall, the car looks really good. I think it'll do fairly decent. I don't think it'll be like a super winner or anything, because there's some other a lot better builders out there than I am. But that ends this little second part video of the NASCAR one. I know I did one a couple of months ago, and I had to do a follow up on it. So this is the car right here that will be entered. So I hope you enjoyed this short video here. And as always, take care and have fun racing.